Hey guys, I'm Bretton.
And I'm Dan.
And we're localmovers.com. And today we're going to talk to you about pricing right. Pricing is probably one of the hardest things, maybe the hardest thing in this industry. Let's break it down. How do we begin? What's the first step that we need to do when we want to get into the pricing process?
So you need to understand your cost. You can kind of do some market research and call other movers, maybe kind of, you're not booking a move, but kind of see what their hourly rates are, kind of compare. You're going to know some from the hourly work you've already been doing on some of these gig apps. You want to kind of establish that. You want to put yourself in the middle tier, understand your costs. So that's going to be part of it as well. If you're renting the truck, what's your fuel costs? These are all things you can kind of figure out before time. You know, you've got your labor, you've got the cost of the truck, you've got any overhead that you have, marketing spend and stuff. All those things kind of make up how you should think about pricing. You want to make sure that you are competitively priced, meaning that you're not the most expensive mover, especially when you're inexperienced. But as you get more into specialty moves, especially if you're doing things that other people in the market are not doing, you can command a higher price. You do not want to be at the bottom because when you're at the higher part of the pricing curve, you're going to get better customers.
You know, basically you're going to have some kind of hourly rate, which you're going to bake everything in. In most of America, this is between $100 and $200 an hour for two guys in the truck. Obviously, if you're doing long distance, then the truck cost becomes a much more substantial separate calculation. But let's just keep it simple. For the local move, somewhere in that price range, hourly, two guys plus a van is the base rate. You'll add another guy, and you'll do prorated. You know, half of your two guys in a truck rate. Add one more guy at that. Okay, so that's roughly your rate. Now, the next big thing is how much time is this going to take me? So we're trying to calculate how much time it's going to take me. There are a few different ways. You know, phone call, video chat. And then the old-fashioned way of going into the house and doing an estimate for inventory. But for a local move these days, I think most of the time you're going to go do a phone call, you're going to do a video chat. For a long distance move, then it makes sense to do a walkthrough, get a full inventory of everything, because you really need to figure out the weight and volume for that long haul portion if it's going especially more than like the state next door.
You're going to basically want to go room by room. You know, how many rooms do you have in the house? What are you looking to move? Sometimes they're only moving part of the house. Sometimes they're moving other parts. And then you want to basically get all of the different items. You know, what's the total number of boxes? Based on the room size, you're going to be able to kind of come up with a rough heuristic or like rough measurement of the number of hours, right? So it's like a 1-bedroom house, maybe 2 hours.
3, 4, 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4, whatever. It just depends on what, you know, what you're doing. You can just take down that information on the call and usually give them a quote right there on the phone.
Yeah. And I just build on that a little bit and say, first things first, customer wants to call you. They want a kind of an immediate quote. The customer is very impatient. They don't understand the details of move pricing, and they shouldn't really. They're like, hey, how much is it going to cost to move me? First, you can start by saying how many bedrooms you got in your house, right? How many people live there, maybe? How many bedrooms? For each bedroom, basically add 1 or 2 hours to move the stuff out of the house, right? So you're looking at somewhere between 3 and 8 hours, depending, and then multiply that by your hourly rate and give them that as a starting point. Once you give them the rough estimate of it, then you need to lead on into the next thing to say, but in order for me to give you an accurate, full estimate, I need to get the information from you about exactly what's being moved. And there are 2 ways we could do that. One, we could chat on the phone if you like, or we can do a video call. Now, you can also send them a form. Some small percent of people might want to fill out a form. You can send them like an email with a form or email with questions, or you can have a form on your website. Once you get the price down for the rooms, you need to ask a couple other critical questions. Do these people have stairs? And is there an elevator in the building? And is there a long walk between the front of the house and the truck? Because you will be surprised how much time and labor that eats up. Those stairs are killer. They're probably one of the worst things in moving. Movers hate moving stairs. I hate moving stairs. I've done it, but I don't like it. Elevators are slow. You got to wait for them, even if you can reserve the elevator. You need to bake in the amount of time for that. That's going to potentially multiply your time by as much as 2x. More likely, maybe adds 20% to your time or something like that. That's kind of the estimating part that's critical. And you should be able to get 90% estimate accuracy with a video call. Probably 3 out of 4 times you're pretty accurate on the phone call. And it depends. If you want to do hourly plus quote where you're like, hey, if we run over, this is our hourly rate and you're going to have to pay it, then you can go with that. It's okay. At Local Movers, we really prefer, and it's our customer promise, to give them a fixed price bid if they want it. We guarantee that we will offer them a fixed price bid that will not be shifted. And if you can do that, and you can explain to the customer the value of that, that is a great tool in your marketing arsenal. You should try and be pretty accurate with your price quote. As we discussed in earlier episodes, what is far more important than chiseling $50 off your quote is picking up the phone immediately, being the first voice, being professional, friendly, and explaining to them the whole process. So they're like, hey, this guy knows every single little detail about moving, and he makes it very simple and clear for me, so I don't have any doubt that he's good. And if I do call someone else, even if they give me a different price, they're going to sound like a clown on the phone. They're not going to be as good and buttoned up. And so I'm going to question them and I'm going to go with you.
So, Bretton, when we think about like pricing and psychology of the customer, how do you think about how you should pitch a customer on price? They're gonna, of course, they're calling, and you're gonna show that you're professional by giving them a price quickly. But how do you maneuver that price so that you get to like a good win for you and the customer? You're not overpricing,
Absolutely.
you're not underpricing.
Absolutely. Well, depending on how good you are at doing quick mental math, you either need a calculator in your hands. You should learn how to, you should have your phone calculator app at one thumb click away when you pick up the phone, for sure. I'm good at the mental math, so I don't need it. But if you are not rock solid in it, you should have a calculator. Or if you like to take a paper and pencil, you can do that, but you need to be quick. So if we play this out, why don't you just call me and be a customer and I'll walk through and tell the guys like how I'd handle it. So you call me.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, this is Bretton from localmovers.com. How can I help you?
Hey, Bretton, this is Dan. I'm looking to do a move from San Francisco to Sonoma.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit real quick about how big your house is?
I have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house.
All right, cool. So I know for 2-bedroom, 1-bath house in this market, I'm going to say it's $200 for the guys. I'm going to say that this is at least a 4-hour job. So I'm going to put it at 800 in my head. That's my base rate. But I'd like to charge 1,200 for this job, and I think I can get it because this guy sounds like he's a rich guy. I'm not going to pitch him on 1,200 right away. What I'm going to say is, well, Dan, it depends really what service option you want. We can offer you the white glove premium service where we do full packing. We're licensed and insured. We have additional insurance available on top for your move, just move specific insurance. And that'll run you $2,000 for the whole move. We'll also do a full apartment inspection walkthrough prior to and after the move. Does that sound like that might fit in your budget, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of looking for somebody to help me load up the truck, get it delivered where I need it. I don't need all the extra bells
I
and whistles.
understand. That makes sense. So at this point, we've done something called anchoring, and anchoring is a really important thing in sales where we've set a price anchor. He's heard $2,000, and I'll say, "Well, Dan, I totally understand. We actually have a great base rate service without some of those extra frills. You'll have to pack up some of your stuff before we come there, but I can move all that stuff for you by the end of this week for 1,200. Is that doable for you?"
Yeah, that's reasonable.
All right. So in this case, I won the 1,200, but even if he pushes back on me, I'm still okay to sell this, and I know I'm going to make a profit at 800, so I have that option in the back of my pocket. So this is kind of how you have to do it. In reality, Dan was a very friendly, easygoing customer. He just wanted to move. He's a pretty affluent guy, but he's not a rube. He didn't want to get ripped off, and he felt like my first price quote was a little bit high, and he wanted to see if something was better. So you got to know your customer and feel them out. But it's very important that you give them a premium option or a reason for them to understand this high price. It also lends some credibility to you that you're able to offer this menu of options. You're giving the customer a perception of choice, which is really important. And you do have choice. You do have a lot of things. You can also sell add-ons. There's an art and a science of pricing, and being comfortable on the phone and learning this yourself is an absolutely critical skill in this game. There's no substitute for this. And once you get it, then you can start creating those SOPs and creating those playbooks for your salesperson, whoever's answering the phone, to do it. But off the bat, this is kind of where you have to start with. And probably, most of the customers, maybe 2/3 of them are going to pick the middle, but 10% will take the premium and 25% will negotiate you down to budget. Sometimes you got to take those jobs, but all other things being equal, you really want to try and close right there on that first call at that sweet spot middle price point. I know we've covered a lot here about pricing. It's a pretty complicated topic and no one's going to get it all right off the bat,
Yeah.
but what do you think are the key takeaways that people should know about how to price right and how to handle communicating it with the customer?
Yeah, I think first is just getting the estimate right. You're on the phone, you want to gather the kind of minimum amount of detail that you can get them a price rapidly. I think command of your business and your pricing scheme to the customer is going to communicate that you've done more than just like one move. You're not, oh, I'll get back to you in a couple of days. I need to figure it out, do my homework. You know your numbers. You can go to localmovers.com/AI. We have pricing calculators that you can have pulled up right when you're doing the call. Put them on your home screen, click that tab while you're talking to them to work up the call. You can enter all the data in there right there, and it will give you the information. So being able to come back quickly with a quote, not missing stuff, and you're going to screw stuff up. You're really going to, end up eating some jobs. And so you want to just kind of get through those. That's just something you're going to accept that, hey, some jobs I'm going to lose money on, but you want to minimize those. And so we've got the tools at localmovers.com to help you do that. Once you get the estimate figured out and you can almost get them a call, they're going to be really excited because either they want to do a move with you, if you're in their budget and you can kind of get them what they need, or you don't. And that's really, I think, the time to close is where you want to be. You don't want them to pick up the phone and call the next mover. If you've got a price that fits in their range, they'll probably go with you. They're probably not like calling 5 movers, most people, if they get something within budget, they're going to close right there. So I think that's right and easy to do if you can just have those numbers right in front of you and come back, talk them through their house, gather up all the inventory, put it into a little spreadsheet while you have them on the phone, and then give them a price that matches your business and your services. And then the other one is the kind of pricing psychology and offering 3 different tiers, maybe good, better, best. What that's going to allow you to do is anchor and also demonstrate that you have more capabilities as a business owner in what you offer. So, it's not, maybe you only have done like 5 moves, but the way you're pitching it, it sounds like you've got your
500.
500. Yeah, exactly. So you're a pro, you're coming in, you've got different services. Maybe they don't want all the services. That's fine. Maybe they do. So you're going to be able to capture margin when they do. And when they don't, you're going to be able to land in a good place where you have a healthy margin.
Yeah, I think it's a great summary. I don't have too much more to add, but thanks guys for joining, and let's get moving.